The state didn't want this out. Fraud inside Kentucky's transportation cabinet. Licenses issued without a driver's test.
It is an ongoing WDRB investigation, and tonight we hear from a whistleblower who says coworkers used her login to pull off this scheme.
The employees were being paid underneath the table.
They say sometimes
I immediately let my supervisor know about it.
truth hurts.
Did you ever think that this would cost you your job?
No,
And for Melissa Mormon,
I was angry for a long time.
this is one of those.
It hurts me that I'm talking about this and I actually like where I was working at.
Times.
I came into the office that day, my computer was shut down. I was told to go to the front door. Detectives came in, they interviewed me. That was it.
Mormon says she was fired 3 months after she sent this letter to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, blowing the whistle that workers at the NIA Center licensing branch were selling driver's licenses under the table to people who never took the driver's test.
Undocumented workers.
How did it work? What was going on?
The undocumented workers would come into the office in groups. They would provide them either permits or a driver's license illegally. So they were bypassed without even taking the test.
How much?
$200 a person.
Up to 5 times a day, she says.
We're talking about illegals. They're not even supposed to be in this country, but they came inside the DMV, this is in Kentucky, and was able to get licenses to operate vehicles on our roads. Paid at least $200 per license to scamming employees at the Kentucky DMV. This was happening all over the state. And then when the whistleblower came out and told on her coworkers, the state fired her instead of doing something about it. And we wonder why we have all these illegals around the country driving for Uber, driving Lyft, even operating tractor trailers, making U-turns in the middle of the interstate, killing Americans. We wonder how and why this is happening. Well, here it is. It's corruption all over the country at these local DMV offices, from Kentucky to Florida to California and everywhere in between. And this woman right here, she did the right thing. She reported what was going on, and they thanked her by firing her from a job that she actually liked working at. And side note, that's very rare these days. Finding people that's content with their job, they fired her?
Was this an everyday thing?
Almost, yes.
I first reported on the driver's license fraud investigation in April after getting my hands on one of the state's revocation letters. We learned the transportation cabinet sent more than 1,500 of them in 5 months, telling drivers their license was issued in error and must be returned or they could be criminally charged. At the time, state officials confirmed at least 2 terminations, and ongoing state and federal investigations focused on the NIA Center in West Louisville and the E-Town license branch. But they denied all of our records requests, withholding 2,300 documents on the fraud. Mormon's story fills in the blanks.
I found out it may have been going on for a couple of years before it was found out.
We're told it wasn't as simple as people getting state-issued driver's license or permits without taking the test. She says 2 of her colleagues at the NIA Center approached her with a business venture, asking if she wanted to get in on the scheme.
I was asked to bring certain customers in, and they are brought in to me without signing in. And you would scan their documents as usual.
Documents made to look legitimate, like birth certificates and social security cards, according to the letter she wrote to the state. But a key to pulling off this scheme was making sure the required Homeland Security screening was never run.
I start getting these emails saying, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this?
And that's where it unraveled. She says those workers were using her login, a password she says her bosses made her share, as all workers at the driver's license branch did not have their own.
And that's where she messed up at. Absolutely not. There's no way I would have shared my credentials with anybody at work. I don't care what boss said I had to do it. Nah, if you wanted them to be able to access information, process applications, or whatever needed to be done, you give them their own login information. Everybody should have their own username, their own password. You never share email credentials, passwords, security information, access to databases with anybody. Because once they log in using your information, that's just saying you did it. And it's going to be very messy and difficult trying to prove you didn't do something. The burden alone is enough to not do it. So I say, why even go down this road? Nah, never share it. I don't care what they say. I'd rather you deal with the consequences of not sharing your password than to have to deal with the liability associated with giving other people authorization.
Mormon was training to
Half
be
the
a
time,
supervisor.
I'm not even at my desk because I'm doing various duties, or I'm not there for the day. So, things start kind of coming together. I'm like, what's going on?
Was it always undocumented workers?
Yes,
Every time?
every time.
It does not surprise me.
Adrian Trivedi helps people trying to obtain legal status, an immigration attorney for 14 years.
For those immigrants that don't have a pathway to obtain legal status, having a driver's license could mean the difference between getting home from work safely, to their children, to their wives or husbands, and not for a relatively small price to be able to have that chance of avoiding deportation even just for that day.
A relatively small price? What's the price of the lives of those Americans being wiped out when you hand over these licenses, letting these people operate vehicles, and they can't even read road signs? See, it's noodle brains like this that really annoy me. You want us to have empathy for illegals who illegally found their way into a country they're not even supposed to be in? You want us to worry about them getting home to their families after working at a job they're not legally qualified to work, driving cars they're not legally supposed to be operating, risking the chance of accidents, not to mention some even getting commercial licenses, operating 80,000 pounds, up here killing actual citizens on the highway. Again, like in that recent case in Florida. Where's the empathy for those 3 people that illegal immigrant from India ran into on the highway who never made it home to see their families? Yeah, y'all sit up here advocating for these criminals to break the law, not just by sneaking in the country, but they go on to break more laws, obtaining fake documents, falsified documents, obtaining a driver's license with no driver's test, nothing? Like, really?
They're willing to take it.
To Mormon, this license scheme exploited people.
I didn't want no parts of it.
Mormon says she wrote this letter with her boss on October 29th, and she spoke to detectives 3 months later. She was fired the same day.
Gut punch, yes. Very hard gut punch.
She was 2 years and 3 months onto the job, but she didn't technically work for the state. Mormon was a contractor for Quantum, a staffing agency that Kentucky hired to help fill positions in driver's license branches when they took licensing away from the county clerks.
Please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Mr. Van Staten, this is Gilbert Corsi from WDRB News.
The Michigan-based company did not return our calls or emails.
It hung up.
It's shocking. Why would an employer punish and take retribution on an employee that reported this wrongdoing?
Mormon's story, now the heart of a whistleblower lawsuit going after both the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
She should be a hero.
And Quantum Solutions.
There's a failure to supervise these employees. There were obviously no checks and balances.
Kentucky State Police is on it. There are serious concerns, and we'll hold anybody accountable if they violated the law.
That's basically all Governor Andy Beshear would say as we pressed on this case in April. But there was a part of our interview that didn't make our prior report, and it may be important now.
Is there an immigration component to this?
Not that I'm aware of.
And look at this liar. You can see right through him. He's not telling the truth. That one office alone was giving out 5 licenses per day, and every single person who came a part of this whole scheme wasn't illegal. They said this went on for at least 2 years. That's over 2,600 licenses at that one office. And we're talking about an operation that was widespread across the whole state. The initial investigation included 2 locations responsible for well over 5,200 cases of fraud. We're talking about thousands of people from just 2 locations. Do you know how many illegals got access to a license from this scheme? And then the governor here had the nerve to put all the crime on citizens, because if he's saying that he didn't know these frauds were undocumented, that would mean that you're telling the public that you believe everybody who was involved in this are actual citizens, basically passing on all this migrant crime to your own residents. Like, how did he say with a straight face that to his knowledge, they weren't illegals? That was months ago he did this interview, before the truth came out. He straight up lied to the public with his stupid face. This is why I don't like politicians. Then it's a ridiculous lie too, because why would a citizen have to go through all this to get a license? His response didn't even make any sense.
WDRB is fighting in court for the paper trail to be made public, uncovering who knew what and when. Sometimes the truth does hurt.
I was hurt and depressed.
But Melissa Moorman believes
I really would like to get my job back.
it will set her free.
The Transportation Cabinet has a deadline this week to respond in court on why it withheld every single document, 2,300 records from our request. We will keep you updated.
And that's another thing. This whole cover-up by the state is diabolical. 2,300 documents withheld from a news organization who went through the proper process to request public records. They ignored every single request only to hide this scandal. Nah, they all gotta pay. The lawsuit is definitely a start for the whistleblower, but everyone involved should be locked up. Every worker who was engaging in selling these licenses, they need to be locked up along with their supervisors and anybody else involved in the cover-up. All the illegals need to be locked up and deported. And whoever gave them access to social security numbers and certificates of birth, they should be locked up too. While you're at it, don't forget about the state DOT and everybody at that level who engaged in the cover-up. Lock them all up. I just don't understand how the RICO isn't being used on these people. They have to be held accountable. They have to be locked up. They all need federal corruption charges. If Trump is serious about cracking down on illegals, he's going to have to investigate all the DMV offices around the country that's responsible for handing out licenses to these illegals in the first place, basically aiding them, helping them avoid deportation. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this below. I want to thank everybody who supported this channel. You can show your support as well. The link to PayPal is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.